Born in East St. Louis, grew up wherever my dad had a job. He was employed as a school administrator. They generally moved him around once every 2 years. I think the longest time he stayed in one place was about 5 years, somewhere in Arkansas. I drifted around with him. I always loved music. Everybody talked about the Delta, and they talked about Memphis, Tennessee, but I like the blues that came from the bayou also down in Louisiana. And they tell me it's not really blues, but leave it to me to explain that's what it is, because that's what I like. I drifted around with my dad, as I said, from here to there. He was a school administrator that everybody liked. They say he had the ability to captivate people's attention and to get everybody to cooperate and do what they were supposed to do. When I graduated from school, Flint, Michigan was home to me. That's where my dad was employed, and I didn't have any idea what in the world I was supposed to do. One day I went to school with him, and students asked him to give me his classes. So you go back and run the office. You go back down the hall and run the office. Let him teach us something. Well, I had no idea what I was supposed to do because it's my first experience as a teacher. So he went to the office and left everything to me. I guess a few minutes later he thought about maybe that was a mistake. He'd better come back and check on me. So when he came back to check on me, found out that I didn't know what I was doing, but the students were helping me. They were telling me everything that I was supposed to know and showing me how to do everything that they were supposed to do. Made my job real easy because I didn't have to know anything, didn't have to do anything. All I had to do was to be present. Well, that business went on all day long. They kept sending him back to the office and kept bending my ear on what they wanted to do and teaching me. Well, I got a good education that day. It was my first experience as a teacher. I needed a job. I didn't have any money because I hadn't been earning much. I had played with the Nighthawk band from the time I was 11 years old on up until Robert Nighthawk, the band leader, passed away in the mid-'60s. I had no idea he had passed away, so that summer when school was out, I grabbed an armful of Greyhound bus and headed to Memphis, Tennessee, jumped off the bus and couldn't hardly make it around the corner where I thought maybe he would be staying. He told me sadly that he had passed away over a year. Well, I started to get back on the Greyhound bus and go back to Michigan, but I don't know, I was so distraught I needed some lowland life for a while. So I went back to Pine Bluff, Arkansas, where I was known fairly well around the different nightclubs, juke joints, or whatever. I had to play there because the students in school, most of their parents had never attended college, so they had no idea what college life was about and what the expenses were. So if they wanted some money, they'd call the parents and tell them they had joined an honor society and they needed $300 to blow. Well, my parents knew better, so I couldn't tell that lie and get any money. So what I did was, when school was out every day around 3 o'clock, I would hit all the joints, the Forest Inn, Rose's Place, the Rock Front, the Jack Rabbit, the Harlem Nightclub, the Sunset, Grice's Place, the Duck Inn, Jesse's Walk-In, wherever I could make $10 for playing about 10 songs, and then I'd walk on down the road and find me someplace else to make some noise. So all of that went on and throughout the summer. School started. I had a contract to go back to Michigan to work. So I headed back to Michigan to work, and the little money they were paying me wasn't nearly what I was used to, because sometimes I'd get $10 for playing one song, and I'd play half a dozen songs. I was ready to move on. So I made it through that year. The following summer, I went back to Arkansas, where CeDell Davis and I had done quite well running what was called an illegal means of entertainment. I didn't see anything illegal about it because I was blowing my lungs out and playing the hell out of my guitar. Anyway, I could make money doing that, and making a lot more doing that than I could working in the school system. So I had to make a decision as to whether or not I wanted to continue working the school system or go back to doing what I knew best. That was the only legitimate thing that I'd ever learned to do, and it was paying well. Matter of fact, I bought and built my own car off of the income that I had received with the so-called illegal entertainment. To me, it was quite legal because I wasn't doing anything wrong. I was just helping everybody to have fun, you see. So anyway, I decided that someday you're going to get old and you're going to need to have an income that you don't have to work for. They call it retirement, I think. I think that's what they were calling it during the time. So I made the decision to go back to Michigan and worked throughout an early career in the school system. Got injured in the early part of my life and didn't have to work for an income anymore, so I could then pursue the life that I love, was entertainment, singing the blues, playing my guitar, traveling and having fun. I did that then. I'm doing that now. I thought about all the things we used to do in the Nighthawk band. I tried to do them, and guess what? It worked out just right. So right now, what I do for an income is whatever I feel like doing. I play and sing the blues, I train horses, and I entertain my friends in any way I feel like. Thank you. Crow for days.